So this is a landscape I call the Quarry garden. It did used to be a quarry, and then there was a cul-de-sac of houses that were built. The significant thing was that often we were digging down to rock when we did a survey, and also the height differences were up to 3 meters, which is quite a lot surrounding a house, and it was quite close to the house. So when I came to see the property, there was this quite shady area that was quite dingy and overgrown. It did feel quite lush, but it was really shady and felt kind of damp. And then there was no way to access this upper area, which was really beautiful. It was almost like a natural amphitheatre anyway. And then I designed this kind of wildflower amphitheatre and this lawn in this upper area because it's something that's low maintenance. It gives us somewhere to go and a sense of identity, but it also creates quite low maintenance areas, and obviously it's creating a habitat for wildlife. So it does quite a lot of things at the same time. So the design had to be very careful. One, we had to make sure that there was drainage, but we were on the top of a hill, so actually the stone did drain. So we could plant flower beds into the stone, but we couldn't afford to do too much excavation. So the design really needed to work with the level of stone that had already been excavated. So it was quite restricted as to how much we could impose different forms onto the space. One of the most important things about this concept was creating this sweeping staircase and then this asymmetric seating area that was surrounded by planting beds. So we could bring light into this lower area, create softness surrounding this hard landscape because we knew it was going to be paved, but also create this real sense of movement that kind of called you up into this upper area where we were going to have this amphitheatre of wildflowers. The garden had other areas as well, which you could then go on to visit. So really what we were doing was connecting different areas together, creating this kind of sculptural form which flowed, and also creating this movement of flow through the landscape. So that's why I came up with this idea of this retaining wall to retain areas. That then created terraces. And because we created these terraces, we had this softness, which was 70, 80 centimeters high. And then that kind of broke up this idea that you were surrounded by these quite steep banking walls. And we didn't do too much to those banking walls because they were already filled with plants. And, when they're kind of stone and there are some kind of areas, natural rifts in the stone, and plants have begun to inhabit those cuts and rifts, then it's quite good to use that, I think, because it's quite difficult to actually manufacture that in terms of the landscape. So we had some stuff that we needed to work with and some stuff that we needed to redefine with the design. I think that we created quite a lot of identity in this space. So suddenly the house felt like it was connected to the landscape, and previously there'd been a really big disconnect. So I think that was a really successful part of this design.